Said go. Are we live? I think we're live and
Are
we're all
we?
good. No one is watching. That's cool
Huh.
because it's gonna be like a surprise event. And hello, Pervites, amigos, and performers, QA testers, everyone watching us. I'm Leandro Melendez, also known as Señor Performo, your good amigo and developer advocate with K6. And today I bring our good amigo Federico Toledo, which we had the opportunity to finally meet in person,
Yeah.
and to bring him to you to give some more details and to talk about, well, what's going on with him. But amigo Federico, welcome. How's it
Thank you.
going?
Very good, very good. Very excited to be here and having the opportunity to finally meet in person with you, man.
Oh yeah, it was I think at least 3 years since we started talking.
Probably. We've been doing a lot of stuff together, like interviews, podcast, many
Yeah,
things.
I
And
know your voice really well and started to see your face on during the pandemic, but was something that it's fun when so much people that you don't truly know in person that you have just met virtually, and you finally meet, and you're always like, and you even told me that is this person gonna be tall or short or how? Because the camera adds some pounds to you. This is not.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, how was your experience? How was right now the meeting time and everything that happened?
Yeah, it's been intense, I would say, because we need to get it in the rhythm again, right? It's
Hmm.
like interacting with all the people and being in a room with many people and noise in the background, right?
Oh yeah,
So things that we need to catch up and get used to it again, but at the same time, really exciting because it's much better the feeling of being in front of people and yeah.
it's a world of difference. We say in Spanish. I don't know if that translates very good in English,
Hmm.
but it's and it's something I feel like I lost stamina for
Hmm.
people time, conference time, or being running around all the place. We were talking yesterday with Jenny and some other friends that they are like, I'm devastated. I'm so tired.
But happy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's like after a day in Disneyland, you're like, it's so much fun, but I want to die right now. It's our Disneyland right now. It's our, how would I say, happiest place on earth for now. And so going around a little on, we're gonna be talking about a few topics, a few things. What is what what is specifically brings you here? What are you gonna do today or this week in
Mhm.
StarEast? Tell us a little bit about your plans.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been working in software testing for several years, and I've been always looking to this type of events where you can meet and learn from other people, from other testers, and learn from other experiences. So one of the things that bring me here is try to learn and also share. This is why I'm giving a talk this Thursday
Hmm.
afternoon about something that really in the last years I've been researching and learning a lot in Abstracta. We have a team with more than 100 testers,
Oh wow.
so I will be sharing our lessons about how to keep the testers motivated because this is crucial. This is key in order to provide an excellent service for your customers and also to have a team with happier people, right?
Hmm.
So I will be sharing things related to that. And as you know, I have my background as a tester is mainly in performance testing. So this is why tomorrow we will be sharing a panel with other performance testing professionals discussing all things about performance.
Yeah, we're gonna be having some fun tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to stream it and share. Will be you, Delvis will be with us. Will be John Hill from NASA. Um, Nahil can't remember his name. Oh my god, I will have to check it live, and I'm so ashamed. But yeah, because we have to pay respect to who is coming up and making sure that we at least know the name.
But the
Kaushal.
Mhm, yeah.
Kaushal Dalvi. Sir, if I'm saying your name wrong, um, I hope
apology.
you to be here soon and correct me. Kaushal? Hard to know, but too
But
much.
this is part of what is going to be really good about this type of things. It's like meeting people we don't know, and learning from their experiences, their perspectives, because probably it's not the same working in different type of companies, even though we are trying to achieve and provide information about performance, uh, to improve the performance of our applications. If you work for different type of companies, different industries, different, you use different tools, or
Mhm.
you work with different type of teams. Maybe you collaborate with developers, or maybe you are in charge of all everything related to the performance testing, and you have to just provide a report. I don't know. So all different, all those different backgrounds, I think, can give different perspectives.
We totally come here and that new well, not new difference, found again difference where we are in person. We can talk to people. We get these different flavors of perspectives of who does what and what is the specialty, what are they doing, and on you were saying, and I don't know how to pronounce some names, and we were yesterday just having like from the person itself is like I'm not Gianna, Gina, Jana, and all those little details that is, boy, I was calling you the wrong way all this time, or I didn't know. And it's a learning experience in so many levels to be here in the conference, to be here uh, talking to people, very senior people. We just had some almost special guests that dropping by, and some other friends that we know, some others that, oh, is this person um, someone that I can get a lot of knowledge? And you were telling me I wasn't aware, and oh, super senior, it's good level or
Mhm.
years of experience. And it's funny how right now we're having generations of specialists or people that can teach us so much. And looking forward to hearing some of what they are going to be presenting, some of the learning, because I think a platform that propelled me a lot was to come to conferences and learn about this new stuff that is happening.
Mhm.
Because when you're in your company and you have your eyes covered to the size, and you're just automate. I have to run this test and the execution and the scenario and results, but you don't start to see what else is out there, and you can start losing track of things, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
have you seen that in the?
Yeah, maybe to give you, because I was thinking how this I can relate this with what we do for our customers, and maybe to just to give you a little bit of context, we provide software testing services different companies, mainly in United States, but also in Latin America and Europe, and we have different teams working with different companies in different contexts,
Mhm.
and sharing knowledge within our different testers in the team is very useful for the different companies we work with,
Mhm.
because we can learn, as you said, the same idea. You learn from one context and try to apply these learnings to other
Yeah,
contexts.
other areas of
Oh, mhm.
IT, and it's something really cool that, and I just reminded when we were talking about the perspective, where can you apply different things or where you get locked into some things. I remember yesterday we were talking about your book. Everyone, Federico is another author for testing books. What's the title of your book?
It's it's
It's
uh,
in Spanish, I
it's
know, but
in Spanish,
how would you
but
translate it?
basically it's the introduction to software testing of information systems.
Testing 101,
Mhm.
and some
Yeah,
other words.
maybe I needed some assistance in marketing the for giving a better name, but basically it's an introductory book for the different areas of quality, mainly in test automation, performance testing, exploratory testing. And it's a book that you can download for free, because my intention was not to make money with the
Mhm.
book, but to provide like a useful resource for people to break into technology, because I really believe that testing is something that could be a great stepping stone. It could be, you can make a career out of it, but also it allows you to start quicker than other options,
Mhm.
and then from there you decide what you want to continue learning and growing in different paths.
Yeah,
So
because the QA area, it's vast, and we have so many. When I read your book, I remember I was like, wow, this guy. And we hadn't even talked. You didn't know about me. I, of course, knew about, Federico, senior author of this very good book, because you're covering multiple aspects. It's very introductory on all the aspects in QA. And, and it got me thinking when you said that you just published it for to help people. It's not that we're going to get rich publishing
yeah,
QA books, or it's not the next Dan Brown or J.K. Rowling universe of testing, no? The magic of testing or something like that. It's to help people to
Mhm.
share the knowledge. And you have a performance section in the book, because performance is a very important part of QA. And we were talking yesterday that your performance part was a little bit oriented to this tool, OpenSTA,
Yes,
uh,
the book it was written
written a while
in
ago. I just aged it, and
years ago almost.
wow. And 10 years, it's centuries in terms
Yeah,
of technology and QA
absolutely.
and things that we do. It's something that even on mine I have had that, like, oh my god, it's so oriented to waterfall, and waterfall is not even like a thing. Well, it's a thing, it's happening everywhere, but we should be teaching the new things. But that's something that you mentioned afterwards, that OpenSTA was a tool that the company and your team got so used to, or as I said, was
Mhm.
like, this is our tool, we're using, and you overextended a little bit the use of the tool,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I can see this now.
And many organizations I have arrived and provided services, you're still using that? Like, don't you know that there's like better tools, better things that you could be using? And it's it's important that we open our perspectives and that
Yeah,
we are
and we
aware.
learn. Yeah, and we learn from different tools and different ways of using the tools. Because
Hmm.
something that we've been discussing, talking a lot about K6, that I really like, it's that it's perfect for certain contexts
Hmm.
where you want to interact with your developers, for example, because you can prepare your tests in JavaScript,
Hmm.
right? So if your developers are working with JavaScript, they can collaborate with you, and you manage a common language.
Hmm.
So you that fosters the collaboration
Yeah.
within different members of the team, and I think this is great. And we also discussed that we are also working on a open source library to provide this a similar idea for Java developers to be able to generate JMeter
JMeter
scripts,
scripts.
which is also an open source solution for performance testing, pretty popular. But the thing is that you needed like a different environment to prepare the test scripts. You needed to be, to learn about this tool. And if you are working in Java, maybe you can like just use the same tools, the
Hmm.
same environment, and this could help you to like pay more attention to the tools, and integrate your current tools with others, right?
It's and it's a recurrent topic that we have had with some of the conversations that we've had in these interviews that we're doing. The spectrum of tools, where do they fall, where are they good for? And we all are saying tools, not that tool, not the tool
Yeah.
that I keep doing the joke or example with the Lord of the Rings, one ring to rule them all. And there's no single tool that will help you to do everything. There are some that are adequate or incredible for some circumstances. But you, yesterday, Jenny was saying that I would be um, putting a screw with a hammer, which, well, you need a screwdriver. There are different tools for different situations, and we should like expand and be ready to adapt and use all of them
Yeah,
whenever we
absolutely.
are doing something different, the context and how it drives us. Because as you say, the important part here is that we have those teams, right? The devs and the QAs, which I really dislike that all the time, is like dogs and cats. You must fight, you must hate each other, and you must. And with these efforts that K6 or the library that you're building are trying to close the gap, to make them hold hands and
Mhm.
be happy. Imagine all the people living life in peace.
And not only collaborating through Jira tickets, right?
Oh
Or
yeah,
through
yeah.
reports or documentation, and try to find different ways to collaborate. Maybe we can do a brainstorming session where I can show you my code and you can teach me about different ways of structuring my scripts in
Hmm.
order to make them more easier to maintain. And this is another way to collaborate within between performance testers and developers. Or I can also, in a brainstorming session reviewing your code, I can give you ideas on how to improve the way you are testing it, or optimizing it, or optimizing or maybe how to gather more information from production in order to understand what's happening with the users. Many
Close
things.
those gaps. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. And to, as you say, something that caught my attention all the time, but it felt weird to me, but I couldn't put the finger on what was the detail. Was these tools, as you say, code. Developers know code. They can, or easy to edit. You put it on a GitHub and you can just quickly edit it. You don't need much but a browser to get an automation rolling. And let's say we need to work with something a little bit more GUI based or specific. I remember, to give an example, UFT. I mean, we're not trashing this QDP. Let's talk about a project long gone, which, if you didn't have the software, the QTP software license, or the knowledge, because it's a different thing that only the tester had the knowledge. They had the key, literally the license key for using that. And it's something that limited the team in general, that made it a little bit
Mm,
difficult to sharing. I don't know how to move that Qt something thing. It's a it's a tester thing, and sorry, even if I wanted to, and closing those gaps, because nowadays in our agile, continuous modern teams, we need, okay, I'm a developer, switch hats. Now I'm a QA, and I will automate quickly. Hat back, I execute the test, and I found a bug, and that's super cool because I like that the same person preparing things can detect where there's a problem. Because it was crazy. How many times did you receive a code or a solution to be automated for a load test that you could tell is already not performing?
yeah, just accessing the staging environment and seeing the
It's
white
spinning
page.
wheel,
Yeah.
and I think we all got that situation. And I always wondered, why did no one catch this before? Why no one reported it or said
Are
anything
you
about it?
talking about shifting left performance testing, for instance?
And but it, yes, it's a little bit of shifting left, but um I like this phrase from Spider-Man. My spider sense is tingling. But that's like my common sense is tingling. If I, not necessarily the dev, but also the QA doing functional, doing manual tests, and supposedly performers were, we were the last ones to get that code in the waterfall days. And I was like, why did no one had the common sense to say this is not slightly slow? It's incredibly slow. It's not
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
It's almost unusable, and I am receiving it. Some of those checks that no one was doing, even our um, comrades in testing, that we were.
Have you been able to evangelize a team, like different members,
Mhm.
to pay attention to performance testing aspects before they hand hand over the software to you?
Well, it depends, because it's a big switch in approach. In the waterfall days, it was like, you receive the code, it's built, it's already packed, and if the
Yeah.
developers were even gone. Like they were went back to India because they were just brought. I mean, not trying to be racist or anything like that,
Uh,
but the team was brought to the States just to complete the coding, and then
huh.
they went back to India. And I was like, who's gonna help me for this? But in Agile, it's very different. If you have access to the project from the very beginning, you can start to give them some of those guidelines. Hey, you should care for this, you should be careful with that. But if the projekt's already going, and because these teams, it's like you're brought and you're the performer, you just need to do your scripts, load test, load test, load test, and that's where we get some of those problems. Like, yeah, we need a frozen environment for my load tests. No, you need continuous mini load tests or some other approaches. And teaching them and making things easier for them to integrate into their solution and to automate, I think has helped more than, because evangelizing, I don't know, it's not just preaching and thou shall not pass if you don't perform.
No, but what I meant is that trying to make the rest of the people also collaborate or consider the performance since the beginning when you are defining the
To care
requirements.
for it.
Yeah, you're talking now about performance-driven development, right?
Yeah, that's yeah, you're aware of it. Oh wow. I'm happy. Yeah, it's a little bit of that, but as well, how to say it, if you can show the impact to the team if they don't care about performance, because it's sadly it's an approach of, hey, your personal problems that can come out of it, and you don't want to be here fixing a defect on Friday at the end. No one wants that. I don't want it. You don't want it. Why don't we work it out together so that doesn't happen to any of us? Because in theory, we are not anymore like the team went back to India and they are disengaged and they
Yeah.
won't think of this project ever again. We're like Fast and Furious. We're family. We're here together in the project, and we need to care for each other like a family. And the project is our baby, and we can be an ugly baby, but we can tune it and make it look a little bit better. I don't know, but those are the approaches that I think are good for the team to say, you don't come here just to do a job and get out of here. It's your baby. It's something.
And the software is never finished, right?
Never. Yeah.
You don't just release to production and forget about it. It's probably going to evolve. You are going to get feedback, and you will need to make changes.
Hmm.
And those changes need to be tested also in performance. So this is why maybe having different understanding this process and understanding the risks associated to that, and trying to think which test will help to mitigate them and which process, because you were saying maybe the waterfall frozen environment is not something good, but maybe in some situations you need to do that,
Hmm.
and something else, or try to, but it's about understanding what are your constraints, what can you do, and, and what's the best way to control the risks, provide information, and try to improve the system and make your users happy.
And think for all the team to make it as efficient as easy as possible, because there are some things. Again, one of my examples that this type of activities is like brushing your teeth in the morning and flossing. It takes some time. It's a little bit, eh. For when we were children, we were like, no, I don't wanna, and then our parents will make it because. But it's way better than if you wait for your teeth to have problem, to hurt, to have to, I don't know, need a root canal or something really
Mhm.
ugly. It's better if you tell everyone like, hey, you just take a couple 2 minutes brushing. That's all you need, and you'll be in a better situation, better place.
And at the beginning is a really good example, because at the beginning you will hate it because
Yeah,
you don't understand it, you maybe you are not used to it, but then it's gonna be part of your routine, it's
you
gonna
don't
be a
even think
habit.
about it.
Yeah.
It's just flowing, and it's yeah, and it's something. On the other hand, I, I don't know if you know the story of toothpaste. I mean, it has fluoride and things good for your teeth, but has so much peppermint and mint that
Uh-huh.
like that flavor, so that it's pleasant, so that you are, oh, I'm gonna have this funny flavor, or and some of those little things, if you can implement it in your project, and that the team members are not like, I have to go through this thing that is so tough and ugly, and if it's something joyful or
Yeah.
you know these apps when you post something, confetti pops up or something that you get happy. Um, Rewards, or make it
Yeah.
at least flow transparent. Those.
I can think of many different situations where I feel that I was really enjoying, like, uh, running a performance test and trying to understand how to optimize the the application, the system, and try to understand why it's not going faster. And those situations, probably it's the challenge, the technical challenge
Mhm.
behind it, which is really engaging. And I feel that maybe this is the peppermint in my case, to try to run performance tests because it's so fun.
it, it's I call it the Stockholm Syndrome, because it's something painful at the beginning. You had to find that problem, but when you start to get good at it, you start to enjoy it, and
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
it used to bring you pain, but not anymore. So you're happy now, and it's it's funny. You got me thinking on performance testing, all the areas that we have just in performance, where many guys, I'm gonna name people. I know James Pulley. He loves to get into logs and analyze what is like traces and figure out, pinpoint where's the detail. And there's some other people that no, I love scripting. That's my thing. That's my. Some other that modeling scenarios. Like, this is
Hmm.
super exciting. You get the numbers and you do the math. And some others, the requirements. What are the risks in your performance environment? You are a hospital system. Okay, you have very peculiar risks there. You are selling, I don't know, uh, Teletubby plush figures. Eh, it's okay. I mean, business wise, you want to sell a lot, but there are all these areas of expertise. You enjoy a lot the analysis
Hmm.
and getting your detective hat and the magnifying glass and trying to figure out what are things. And that's another part where we need to identify where we are good at
Hmm.
and bring it to the teams, teach them. Because there are some others that at times I feel, we were just talking, and in a past life, long, long ago, I was a developer. And it's some times when you are just like, I just have to release this code. I don't know. It's working. I don't know why or how. It's not telling me warnings anymore, or it has a billion warnings, but it's working. So
Don't
it's
touch it.
okay. And I just want to go home. I'm tired. Or that empathy as well among all the team members, I think it's important, and to understand. Or I don't know if you have experienced this in modern teams where, like, hey, I got stuck, I don't know how to fix this, or my code is working, I don't know how or why, can someone take a look, and the whole team gets together. Have you experienced
Yeah,
this? Or
absolutely, absolutely. And this is part of the. I will be talking about something related to that in my talk, because
no.
yeah, it's part of the culture that you build around teams, and showing collaboration, and showing that it's okay to fail, it's okay to ask dumb questions,
Hmm.
and that it's always someone willing to help you,
Yeah.
and maybe prioritize helping you more than other thing, because it's not only about the short-term result of doing whatever you are doing. It's more about the mid long term of all getting better at what we are doing,
Hmm.
so we as a team can uh, grow and deliver faster and improve
Move
over
forward
time.
together. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
Absolutely.
it's funny because that's also one of the things in the talk that I'm gonna give tomorrow. No, Thursday. There are, spoiler alert. I'm gonna talk a little bit around the book Accelerate. I don't know if
Yeah.
very good book, very good analysis that the authors did around successful companies. And one key element there is to feel safe to fail
Hmm.
and quick to recover. All the team, everyone helping. Where sadly in some organizations the culture is like, oh, you were the one that broke things, and all the fingers pointing, and no, it was me, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fired, or the hall of shame and all those things. It's it's something that, it's funny because it's so much common sense. I'm not the only talk. You're not the only talking about it on those situations. But still, it's a thing that we have to say. We have. Why do you think it is? Why do you think it's something that has to be said? That teams are not, because we know some teams do
Yeah.
not get it yet.
Why needs to be said? I don't know. Maybe we are trying all to help each other. Something that I really like about our industry that
Hmm.
I've seen that in other industries it's not like this. Probably because there is an abundance of job opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So having these uh, many opportunities, we feel maybe safer in our environments. So we tend to be okay with failing and helping others and these type of things. But it's true that in some other companies, it's, I don't know, maybe old school or something like that. I don't have an answer to that question why we need to remind this, but uh, hopefully in a near future it's not going to be necessary. I've seen that in most of the companies where we've been collaborating, the culture is pretty oriented to collaboration,
Hmm.
more and more. But at the same time, I know many companies where they are struggling with communication problems or collaboration issues. But yeah, it's part of the challenge. That what makes interesting to be working in this industry, right?
Yeah, and it's sad to say that it's, yeah, it comes with the trade, and it's part of this. And you know, honesty, I was asking because I need also some perspective, like what is propelling the situation, and reading at some of the questions and comments. Uh, do some of these things at the very beginning of the project. Jose Luis Rodriguez, hi Jose Luis. Um, that is important that you get that mindset. But there's some. This is old practice. I don't know if you agree, because before it used to be like in a factory, like everyone are workers, obreros for us in Spanish, and get your head down to it, work, 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 and get out of here. I don't need you in a team. You are just responsible of your little piece, and the production line is moving.
Mhm.
I think a little bit that mindset is still permeating nowadays, but I don't understand why people do not see like the benefit or of doing things different. And it's something, sadly, and probably you felt it in Latin America. Still, many companies are not that open to those new ways of doing things.
Hmm.
I experienced it, and when I moved to other places, countries, or even companies in the same country, one
Mhm.
company is very different to the other, and you feel that difference. Like, wow, I was doing things wrong all this time, and now that I see this new way. But the weird part is, I didn't even see it before. I didn't even think of it, but it's like, duh, yeah, that's better.
And again, this is why it's so important to generate communities
Hmm.
in our practice and learn from other people and come to these type of conferences or participate and talk and ask other people how they are dealing with these type of things in their companies, right?
Share these perspectives,
Mhm.
right? Because we have been out there in the war, and we have seen other places, other things, and you bring a mindset, and you yourself said it. You're learning right now. You're
Yeah.
getting from all the talks. You went yesterday to a workshop which provided you some more understanding around AI. Was it
Yeah.
AI in testing? And I mean, in that line, you opened your perspective, and many people that are on the field under cubicles or on their home, because we're not that
Mhm.
much back to cubicles yet, but they don't have this perspective. They don't see these new ideas, these possible new things, how to do management, delivery, or developers, testers. I think it's very important that everyone joins communities or gets mentors. That's as well.
Yeah,
What's your take on
absolutely.
mentors?
Yeah, in anything that you are doing, right? Because nowadays I'm still a tester, but I'm dedicate most of my time to manage the company, to
Hmm.
manage Abstracta. And something that now that you mentioned, how is it in Latin America? In Uruguay, something that I really love is how people from different companies that are with their startups or uh, managing teams, we are typically very open to share our challenges, to share our problems, to share the things that we don't know how to uh, solve,
To do, yeah.
right? And this is what I was referring to when I was comparing to other industries. I have some friends, I don't know, architects, for instance, or lawyers, or in other industries, they are not that open to share what they don't know. And here we are telling the rest of the industry, I don't know about this. I want to learn this.
I'm
And
super ignorant, really, people. That,
but I really believe that this point of this exposure, this vulnerability, if you want to call it, is the way to accept that we are not perfect and that we are trying to improve and we are trying to help each other. And this is probably one of the things that I value most about our industry, about this type of communities and other communities around a tool, around a practice like perf bites,
hmm.
and all the people sharing their challenges, their ideas about performance testing. This is a way to connect. This is how I do it, how you do it in your company. And maybe we both can learn and improve the way we are gonna do it in the future in the different contexts.
Just having a different perspective, and you just made me think of when I started in performance. We usually start automating, and it's scripting, 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 and I had my way of doing things. I found it myself. Very little input from an expert or someone more senior, and then I see another coworker, not even someone like super guru level. Another friend that, hey, yeah, I'm automating this. Like, oh, you do the things that way? Oh, okay, I didn't know that existed in the tool that I had sadly been using already for 2 or 3 years. And it's something that, oh, wow. Then I can use this, and with your own, you start to connect things,
Yeah.
and probably you'll create something new. And these events, these places are like a boiling plate out of ideas, and everything keeps popping, and you will get so many more, and they will keep evolving. We're getting more questions and more comments, and that is awesome because you keep spreading the knowledge, you keep spreading, absorbing, and recooking it with your own. That's another one that is very, very cool, I think, from what you said. And it's not that you have to fight for a mentor, because sometimes finding someone to can teach you is kind of difficult, right? Did you?
You asked me about mentors.
Aha.
I didn't mention anything about that. Recently, like a couple months ago, I started with a friend from the university that we are both um, with the same role in our companies, but the companies are more or less similar, but focusing on different things. And we started to something that we call co-mentoring. So there is we together every 2 weeks, and we try to coach each other, asking questions and trying to see things from a different perspective. So it doesn't mean that one is more senior than the other, right? But the key here is asking questions that maybe I'm not thinking about because I don't have the same perspective, because I'm contaminated or biased by
Mhm.
my current context or the things that I typically prioritize. And maybe a silly question can help you to think of something that you are
Hmm.
assuming, right?
It's because that, on one hand, that perspective out of experience, when you are studying, it's like you have no idea you have. And there are so many others. When you were saying right now that you like to see the logs, the metrics, and diagnose and identify, you can already almost do it like, oh, it feels like, oh, it's there. It's a feeling. You already
Mhm.
have that. But someone new would be like, oh, there's so much, or I have no idea. And those, that input, I mean, it's really key or important to,
Yeah, but that comes with experience.
yeah,
Yeah, in most of the cases, my
which
take
a mentor has,
yeah,
hopefully.
probably. Yeah. But my takeaway with this is that maybe, especially for people who are just starting their careers, maybe it's kind of intimidating to ask someone more senior or more with more experience to mentor them if you don't have already someone in your own team or your own company, right?
Hmm.
But maybe in the communities, it's okay to also find someone else to learn together,
Hmm.
even if you are like more or less in the same stage of your career. Because the thing is not only asking questions to someone who is smarter or more experienced than you, it's also making you think from a different perspective. And I find this very useful.
Because also it could be a double-edged sword. You can find a mentor that is so old school that may affect you, the knowledge that you may
Good
get from
point.
that, and I have seen that. And on the other hand, you may be getting better knowledge from someone that is just starting but
Mhm.
walked into something that you didn't know, but is modern, is more up to the time. And the type of mentorship as well, when you said it's very different, like, yeah, I'm enrolling to the Federico Toledo mentorship, brotherhood or sisterhood or whatever, and you, oh yeah, now I am your godfather in performance. And no, I can answer you a couple of messages, I can follow up, shoot the question. And you're right, we've seen that with many, that, oh, I'm sorry to ask, and this may be something stupid, and there are no stupid questions. You're learning, we understand it, we want to help, we want to promote how you can grow. And
Many times, with the silliest question, you learn.
yeah, yeah, when you get some of those, like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, or even, that's the other side of the coin. As a mentor, you are used to, yes, you gotta, and I'm calling from, I'm saying this from a recent, very true life experience. I was writing something about um, making scripts realistic, like when you have to put wait times and
Mhm.
pacing and all those fun things. And someone asked, like, yeah, it's finished, here it is. And someone, an outsider from the topic, like, and why do they have to be realistic? Why can't we just slam a little bit at it? Like, oh, okay. And there are things that also you're biased because you are so close in your view. And it's like, yes, you can have scripts that are not realistic. They are useful at times. They are
Mhm.
not always recommendable, or others are the only way. But you have to balance things, and it's, everyone's learning. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that we are kind of getting to here, right?
Yeah.
Let me, more questions or comments saying hi. We're getting some people watching. Uh, well, I'm quickly just gonna answer to Mark. What's the origin of K6 Gators? Um, the founder of K6 used to have two baby alligators, and one of them was named Bert, who you have here. I mean, Bert evolved a little bit and now has wear glasses and everything. But that's a story. If anyone has more questions, I'm taking an eye here and we'll be trying to answer. And so, going back to what you're doing, because I wanted to hear a little bit more about this library that you're building and helping. What challenges are you facing with it? What is kind of the key things that you haven't been able to push completely, or did you just surpassed?
No, I mean, we started like a year ago. Roger Abelenda is the one who is leading this project in Abstracta, and he came up with the idea of what about if we provide this library in Java, so the developers can prepare the scripts in JMeter, like in Java code, right?
Hmm.
So he started like a small POC. He validated that it was possible to build and run the script from Java, and now basically we are like having an approach of understanding which features are being used by the users of this library, and improve the support so they can continue using and scripting what they need. If they are preparing a script and they need the cookie manager, so
Mm.
we support for the cookie manager. So we are following the need in
It's a
that the
work in
adoption.
progress.
Yeah, of course. It's not supporting all the functionality of JMeter right now, but the idea is that the idea is to prioritize according to what the current users are need, right? And probably one of the challenges that we have is just to and maybe this helps to that is generate more awareness,
Hmm.
so more people know about the solution, and they can try it, give it a try.
Yeah, because that's another one where uh, we're trying to give so many tools to the world and to be used, and some others are like, this is that tool you need to have it, and I'll keep you logged. And even some organizations, the policies are like, yeah, we're paid for a license for this thing, don't, why are you want, but it's free. Yeah, but we're paying for the other thing, and like, what's the deal?
Yeah, and the thing is that if you change, you need to migrate, or pay for two licenses. Yeah, I understand that.
And I understand a little bit of yeah, we're in a conference as things are happening. Sorry if that was too noisy. um, the migration of things, that's another one that I always get some pain points, because if you're switching a tool, that's understandable that you have to migrate. Probably was an old tool, you have the new one. But if you have complementary tools or some other migrations, have you ever received a request to migrate, I don't know, Selenium or QTP scripts into JMeter, and you're like, why? Like, and there are times where, why are you migrating this? There's not much of a need. And we need to make sure that we give, like, hey, do you have a Java solution? Here's the library to translate it into JMeter if you need to. 'Cause there's another risk there, because I face, as I said, functional tests or other type of tests. I have integration, I'm just export it into JMeter. No. And that's another one, the know-how, right? On what are you trying to achieve? It's not just because I need coverage
Yeah,
for everything, right?
yeah, yeah. But I have a couple of thoughts to
No, no,
share
bring it on, bring
related
it
to
on.
that. One is maybe the migration is related to how much money you are paying for the license.
Oh, yeah.
So if
No, if you are completely, it's a tool, you have a spoon and you bought a new, I don't know, eco-friendly spoon that you can use now. Yeah, of course you want to migrate it, but you're adding a fork, you're adding a knife, you're
yeah,
adding a spork or some of those other things. Yeah, when you have an old product, not old, or you're just moving out of, away from it, you need to migrate. Yeah, that's
and there is another thing which is related to maintenance, because if you have two tools, maybe it depends on the context, right?
mhm.
Always. With the JMeter library for Java, we are working also on a migration tool. So if you already have JMeter scripts, you can migrate them automatically to Java code. So you can continue the maintenance on your Java, and you don't lose all the investment, all the effort that you put in your previous solution.
Mhm.
So because this is also a trade-off when you move to another tool, that you feel that you lose all the effort that you put into the previous tool. So uh, in some context, it could be better to have both. Use one for whatever you already automated, and use the other one for another component or for the new functionalities or whatever.
It's a give and take, because I have seen some organizations that generate automations, generate some resources with the idea that we already automated it and it's created, and we are gonna inherit it to our grandchildren, and it's gonna be useful forever and ever. Maintenance, that's a
Hmm.
key thing, that yeah, you need to go and rework it, and probably your solution, the tested solution, not the automation, the solution evolved to a point that this is not useful anymore. And
And another thing related to, because maintenance for me is a huge pain point that we have to take into consideration since the beginning. And also, what are your tests for? If you are doing a test like the typical waterfallish test,
what are
as you,
fragile.
yeah, that you prepare like 20 flows that you want to simulate in a specific test with an environment similar to production, blah blah blah, and you will run this test one time every 6 months,
Mhm.
let's say. So probably you don't care about maintenance, because in
In
six
6 months
months
you'll have to
to
create
rewrite
everything.
everything from the scratch, right? But if you are following more like a strategy of continuous performance testing at the API level and running like a small low simulations, but every day or in every release or in every commit, maybe you want to pay attention to the maintainability. And another thing that can help, because you said maybe for your integration tests, you don't want to use JMeter scripts. Well, I can tell you that we have experience with one specific project where it made sense,
Mhm.
and it was the best solution for our case, because we have one single script that was used for different things. In When we wanted to test the integration, the functionality, we just run one user,
Mhm.
and we could automate also the verifications, the functional verifications. When we wanted to test the performance, we turn off the functional verifications because it's a cost that you don't want
Yes, an
to
overhead
have.
to the
Yeah,
hardware. Yeah.
but we could run the same automation with multiple threads and etc. And it was the best, the optimal solution in terms of maintenance, because you maintain one script
Mhm.
and you run different tests.
Or even as another example, and making the point that it's not a silver bullet or always this way. There are some other times like, hey, I have a browser a solution, and you're doing your load test. How can I know? Oh, run a Selenium script for during a load test to know performance, and grab those browser metrics and see how it is doing. Selenium in performance? What's a sacrilege? And but it's totally doable depending on what fits you the best, what is best for the team, what is best for that mix of
Yeah,
situations and components. And
maybe you can combine and
yeah,
run like 20 virtual users with Selenium and 2000 with K6.
and it's actually a true mix. Nicole gave a talk not long ago about this, that K6 has now the XK6 browser functionality. You
Okay.
can automate a browser, but in the same scenario, you can have a few in protocol layer and another few running at the browser level, and you get metrics from both
Yeah.
sides. And as you say, you can even use a script designed for load testing, but use it on integration, use it on security, penetration testing. So here the mix is your creativity. And yesterday Jenny was like, QAs, we are creative, we figure out ways, we figure out how to connect and how to test, because there are some things that, as you were saying, as scientists, as an example, there are some weird experiments, and I was saying like this, where they hang a string, and if the cosmic rays hit it, and it's underneath in a have you seen this big pool with the spheres underneath to catch the cosmic rays? It's like
Okay.
I think it was in Interstellar or something like that, but I'm deviating. But it's a crazy test. It's a crazy way to figure out that there are cosmic rays. here we also come up with some crazy ways, like, yeah, if the pixels or the width of this button, that means it's pressed, and I have seen that. We have to come out with ways to, if we validate this, it's the same automation, it's the same script, but with this we're checking integrations, with this we're checking performance, with this we're checking security, but it's the same script, and depending on what you're paying attention to. And it's something, you have gotten these questions, what are the most important metrics for performance?
As most of the answers in our world, it depends.
Good, good.
You were looking for that answer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Or you are paraphrasing me, or you already also have your war scars that you have been in the battlefield. But we keep getting questions. Uh, but yeah, it's something that as well, even in performance, it's not always the same. It's
Yeah.
not always the same thing that you're gonna pay attention. And if you add a pinch of this, it becomes a, you put a little bit of salt, it's a stew, it's a soup. But if you put a little bit of sugar, it becomes a souffle, something that is a dessert or a main dish. And we have the same in testing. We have the same in our scripts and our automations. And
I have a clear example with the metrics thing, which is we the typical approach, and if Mark is watching at this,
yeah,
I,
seems
I
like
I recommend to watch his videos, his perf
perf
bits.
bits.
They are amazing. He shares a lot of insights on how to analyze the performance results, and many things. Really useful. But our general approach, I would say, is like try to run the test and analyze the generic metrics, like at the operating system level, like CPU, of course, the response times and throughput, but on the server side, I would say network, CPU, memory, and
And
disk
RAM.
or IO.
Yeah, the Force Horsemen of
Yeah.
apocalypse, I call them.
But then from there, you can try to you start to realize, okay, maybe the issue is in this server, in this resource is being used the most. So I will add more monitoring tools or more gather more metrics, or but it's something that there
Or
is no one single answer to that, because according to what you are imagining or what you are exploring and figuring out, maybe you want to gather more metrics from this specific component in this specific aspect. So then you are trying to understand more metrics for that. So there is no one single answer. It's
Mhm.
like depends on what you are doing in which specific moment of your performance test exploration, right?
Yeah, like what is the best clothing to wear? Like, what's the weather? It
Yeah.
depends. Like, where are you going? What are you going to be doing? And yeah, you're not taking high heels to a hiking expedition. Are you going to the wedding? Okay, well, maybe
Maybe.
take the high heels. Uh, I wouldn't personally wear those, and they're comfortable. Haven't managed to master them, but it's a big mix that if you don't have that insight, that feeling, or someone to give you or teach you, because when we were starting and I was doing that response times, I mean, that's kind of the main one that we pay attention in performance. But what else can you tell? Because we were running tests, it's getting slow. Why? It's getting slow, that I can tell for sure. But the rest, what are you trying to get out of it? What are you trying to fix, detect, identify? It's it's a big mix of depends with this other depends and that other depends. What people do you have? What is your customer gonna be using? It's a huge frame. And is it life threatening? Is it just you won't be able to sell products or dolls or toys? There are so many mixes in this where uh, I mean, I think we can keep talking for hours and hours, and it's a side effect. Like, we haven't seen each other in so long that you should see us when we are all together. Yesterday we were with the rest of the people, the presenters, and we were like blah 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 blah. Blah.
It
Uh,
was so fun.
Lots
So
of
fun.
in Mexico, lots of witty because witty. So, but I'm gonna be trying to keep this in 1 hour bits so that all the people watching can get some of these learnings and don't get bored about all of our rambling, because we have been jumping all over the place.
Yes.
But it's fun. It's a part of the conference experience. But amigo Fede, to start closing it up, uh, where can people find you in general?
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
I'm typically share,
Mentor material, keyword.
I'm typically around Twitter. You
Mhm.
can find me FL Toledo, which is my last name, and this is how it sounds in Spanish.
Mhm.
Um, and you can also find me in LinkedIn, Federico Toledo, and I'm always willing to talk and share and learn from each other.
And
So
help
please
people.
reach out. And yeah, and if you want to learn more about what we do, abstracta.us is our website. But please reach out. We can continue the conversation. And yeah,
And I'm gonna add up a little bit. If you know Spanish and want to read a little bit more about the introduction to testing, um, check his book. I think it's on your page.
yeah, Federico/Toledo.com.
Okay.
It's only in Spanish for now.
Translation work in progress, or
Yeah.
second edition, right? We're talking around that. So, goodbye words. Last recommendation for our friends watching. What would you?
Stay tuned to all what you are
Oh.
going to be publishing and sharing in order to feel closer to the conference. If you didn't have the chance to attend this time, maybe thanks to what you are doing here, you are helping people to stay connected and feel closer and meet different people that are around here. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's an awesome recommendation. I'm very happy and thankful for that. And yes, pay attention. We will be streaming again the conference. They have a free stream package or subscription that you can get. You will be able to watch the keynotes. You will be able to see some of the panels, some of the things that I'm going to be streaming here and giving you an insight into what is the fun happening in the conference. But okay, with that, amigo Fede, thank you very much
Un
for
placer.
joining us and to sharing the knowledge with the world and all our silliness. It was we had fun. So
Yes.
everyone, take care. Thank you for enduring this long talk, and thank you, amigo Fede.
Muchas gracias. Un placer.
Okay, going offline. Let's see if I can finish it quickly.